Hey everybody, John at Midnight Paint and Body here with you again. Hey, on this video we're going to be doing some plastic bumper cover repair. Alright, so today's patient is this nice black Toyota van. You can see they just had a little mishap with some a little bit of broken plastic. And just in case you're not familiar with plastic and frozen climates, Dawson needs to be sure to sniff every inch of every new job that comes in. So yeah, this is what we got going on. It's right around -20 right now, so I'm gonna keep that door shut. So yeah, I'm gonna start ripping this apart, and then I'll kind of take you guys through basics of repairing some plastic. Alright, so bumper cover's off, obviously. I'm gonna show you guys what we're dealing with here. So it is pretty common to, I mean, most guys will just throw these away and get a new one. And I'll be honest, on this one, I did look into replacing the bumper cover. And we probably would have gone that route, except for parts availability is a real issue right now, and I just couldn't get one. So we're going to repair this, and it's really not that bad. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to set this up, and I'm going to use some heat to just get everything kind of back into shape. So that'll be the first step. Alright, so there you go. Paint it black, put it back. Just kidding. Alright, so we're going to flip it over to the inside. Make sure we're retaining all our shape here. Make sure everything looks good. Okay, so I think I'll move the camera so you guys can see what's going on next. The next step here, we're going to rough up the plastic on the inside. So I'm using a couple of different tools. Yeah, just a little mini grinder. And we've got this cheap little belt sander, which kind of gets into some of these curves a little bit. We need to rough it up. We're going to be using some plastic repair, epoxy type stuff on here. All right, if you're still watching, so what I'm going to be using on the inside of this, so this is just, it's this fiberglass drywall tape. So this stuff's going to add a lot of strength to where these cracks are. And then I'm using this Dominion SureSeal plastic surgery flexible. As you can see, this is the flexible filler. Again, I'm not advertising anything, I just kind of let you guys know what I use that works well for me, so might work for you. So I'm going to cut a couple pieces of this kind of to where I'm going to want it. And then this filler is pretty simple, it's just 1-to-1. All right, so we're going to let that cure and then we're going to flip her over and have a look at the other side. All right, the inside is all cured up. It's still a little tacky, but it's okay. Ready to flip over. So now we're just going to kind of do the same. I'm going to prep up the outside with the little grinder there. And just finish this off with some of that plastic repair filler. there's filler on. I'm gonna break for lunch. By the time I come back, that'll be ready to sand, so we'll do that and then probably get some primer on this today. Alright, so this stuff's been sitting about 45 minutes, so it's ready to sand. So I'm just gonna buzz that off with the orbital. It might need a second coat, but it might be enough. So I'm just going to kind of knock the top off with 100 grit, and then I'll finish it with 180. You don't really want to use 100 grit on plastic, because once you go to prime it, it's going to be full of that plastic fuzzy stuff that the primer doesn't really fill properly. I think I will hit that with a second really light coat to filler. There's a couple small low spots, nothing major. But what I like to do, I'm just going to recoat the whole thing so it's nice and uniform when I sand it rather than trying to hit those little spots. So yeah, we'll mix up a little bit more filler. Alright, so I got that finished off with some 180 grit on the sander. I'm just going to sand it back a little bit for primer, and then we'll take it in the booth and spray some primer on it. If I can get the camera out of here. I'll just bring you guys in for a look at the repair. So it's finished off nice, and being finished with the 180 grit, it blends in super nice. So yeah, and it's a flexible repair filler. So yeah, a couple minutes and then we'll set up in the booth and we'll put a little primer on this guy. So I'm going to hit the bare plastic just with a little, make sure you guys can see that. Yeah, again, it's a Dominion Sure-Seal adhesion promoter, just for raw plastic. There's very little raw plastic on this actually, so I get to sand through a lot, but I'll give it a little shot anyway. just going to ensure that primer is going to stick to those areas. It'll stick fine to the filler. Okay, so I got the plastic primer on. Now I'm just going to give it 3 coats of a high build urethane primer. I've added a little flex additive to the primer as well, just it gives a little bit of flexibility to it. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and prime that up, and then if I leave the heat on it, maybe we'll come back to it a little later today and start prepping it, or tomorrow morning. Everyone, that's the next day. I'm gonna get prepping on that bumper. Just thought I'd show you guys what we got going on here today. Warmed up to a nice minus 13 or so. It's snowing and blowing, and I'm actually getting a little bit of a late start today because I already drove my son and his friend out to the ski hill. Perfect day for that. So here's where we left off. I got the bumper cover and primer yesterday. So I'm gonna start prepping. There you have it. Easy breezy, ready to paint. What's that take, like 20 seconds? That's probably why all that body bags are so rich. Okay, let's go paint this thing. All done. It's actually been about 3 hours since I finished spraying this thing. Let me get this tape off. I don't like it to sit overnight when I can help it. Bring you guys in for a look. Alright, so there's our repair area. If you remember, it was all broken through here and here and here. So So yeah, don't always have to replace. A little bit of time, but different with a high volume collision shop. They gotta get them through, but I kind of like repairing stuff myself. Yeah, we'll come back tomorrow, get her back on the car. Alright, if anyone's managed to stick around to the end, if you're still awake, I thought I'd show you the finished product. Well, there she is. Here's where all the damage was. Well, as always, I hope these videos maybe help someone out with your projects or a little do-it-yourself stuff. And thanks for watching. If you can, subscribe, share, all that social media stuff. Help me get these videos out there. I do appreciate it. Do you approve, Dawson? All right, it's Dawson approved.